It's according to my time right here inside the Jazz Cafe. It is 1:55. 1:55. I'm Keith Wonderboy Gardner, and that was Najee and This and That. Yeah, it's actually said This and That. It's D-I-S-N-D-A-T. There you go. That's how it is. That's exactly how it's written out. D-I-S and then an N, one apostrophe in front of it, or behind it, and D-A-T. This and That. I'm Keith Wonderboy Gardner. Thank you very much for listening to the Jazz Cafe on Peachtree Radio, FM, and Caribbean Positive Radio, keeping you alive with positive vibe, and some listen to remember, and some listen to forget. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell everybody that we're here every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, straight up. No doubt about that one. So let them all know. Let them all know. Let them all know that the cafe is here every day at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Coming up on the other side of the break, I got something from, who do I have here? I have something exciting. Excuse me. We have something from Bill Coon, and that's coming up next on the cafe. Don't you go nowhere.
Hi, this is Tree, and you're listening to the Jazz Cafe with Keith Wonderboy Gardner.
Come one, come on. For the whole month of May, it's going to be exciting. Wear the Chill Zone. For the lovers of the game skunk, it's a skunk marathon. Starting May 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. If you would like to play in this marathon, call the Chill Zone, 712-432-5924. That's 712-432-5924. And go to room 32. Skunk Bucks will be given away. First prize, $75. Second prize, $50. Third prize, $25. Fourth prize, $15. And fifth prize, $10. Tell somebody that will tell somebody about the Skunk Marathon. That is being held in the month of May in the Chill Zone. Starting May 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. You are all welcome. You're listening to Caribbean Positive Radio. Keep you alive with positive vibe. And Peachtree Radio FM, where some listen to remember and some listen to forget. Are you looking for the Jazz Cafe? Your table is waiting. Right this way. Come on in and sit down inside the Jazz Cafe.
Where's my drink? This is the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk. And now, here's your host, Miss Tanya Free.
Today is Wednesday, May 9th. Welcome to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. I am Tanya Free, joined by my wonderful friends, and joining us on this side of the track again is Marcus Evans. How are you?
Well, like you said, thanks for having me on this side.
Well, you got
It's
a
nice
fan
to be
club.
here.
Trudy says she likes you on this side of the track.
Well,
so
I appreciate that.
yeah, we have to, make our listeners happy.
All right.
And also joining us for the first time is Frida Johnson. How are you, Fred?
All is well.
Good,
Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Glad to have you. And behind the scenes is Niles Johnson, Noah Johnson, and Mr. Free. Thank you all for being here. We want to also, too, welcome our listening friends from coast to coast. Thank you so much for listening. We want you to join the conversation. Phone lines are open, 804-321-1010, or our toll-free number, 844-321-1010. Or you can text us at TanyaFree 63975, or listen to us on your mobile phone, 712-832-2784. Thanks to our friends at AM/FM 247. Well, once again, I am going to hold off talking about 45 right now. Things are beginning to heat up a little bit. You can tell when he starts to do crazy things, and getting rid
There's
of
a difference with crazy?
Yeah.
There's a new crazy? Okay.
Well,
I'm having a hard telling between the old crazy and the new, but anyway.
Well, the Iran situation that he felt was a bad deal, and my thing is this: he's going to run out of stuff to deflect from, this Russian probe and whatever he wants to call it. And I think I was listening to Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael, Avenatti or something.
Yes.
He has a very unique name, and I really like him. He just seemed like he knows what he's talking about. He's very confident, and he gives you a little bit at a time to keep your interest. So I really think that they really have something. And Sebastian, okay, that was our security team. So I like I said, I'm gonna hold off until there's some charges or something going on, and see them dragging him out in handcuffs.
Well, that would be the picture that's been in my mind since, what was it, November of last year? But anyway, year before. But, that attorney, at first I thought he was kind of hyping things, but he does seem to be pretty straightforward and down to earth.
Very
and
much
listed
so.
Fact by fact.
Very much so. I really like him. So we're going to see as things unfold. We had another politician to be dragged through the mud, or will be dragged through the mud with regards to, I think he was in charge of the Me Too movement.
Well, he was Attorney General
in New York.
Yeah, New York, right. So we're getting bits and pieces about that. I want to talk about that just a little bit. But I want to go to something that unraveled last week. I think it was either Thursday or Friday. Camille Cosby coming to the rescue of her husband, Bill Cosby, and thinking that he was falsely charged. And I ignored it until I heard her making reference to Emmett Till. And I want to read part of the statement if I can. Hold on one second, let me find my other set of glasses. Okay, she says here, Bill Cosby was labeled as guilty because the media and accusers said so, period. And the media ensured the dissemination of that propaganda by establishing barricades preventing the dissemination of the truth in violation of the protection of the First Amendment. Are the media now the people's judge and jury? Since when are all accusers truthful? History disproves that. For example, Emmett Till's accuser immediately comes to mind. In 1955, she testified before a jury of white men in Mississippi courtroom that a 14-year-old African-American boy had sexually assaulted her, only to later admit several decades later in 2008 that her testimony was false. This statement is very long, but that was just an excerpt of it. And I'm trying to understand how she come to that conclusion that those two incidents are anywhere related. I'm trying to understand that. How did
I
that?
think it's the hashtag Stand By Your Man movement, because comparing it to that, it's just, that's a stretch.
That's a real stretch. That's
stretch.
outlandish. I mean, for the
know.
mere fact that the two are nowhere near related in any way.
No.
Emmett Till, a 14-year-old boy, was accused of flirting with a white woman, and white men, kidnapped him from his home, beat him. He was mutilated, shot, beaten, mutilated to the point that you couldn't even identify
Recognize
him.
his face, yes.
How did that happen to, in any way,
No.
Cosby?
I think she was trying to invoke some empathy and sympathy. I understand that she wants to support her man, but in some situations you need to remain silent.
Right.
This is one that I think she should have. I read quite a bit of the article, and I agree that people of color, the poor and just disenfranchised, aren't treated equally when it comes to the media, the legal system, and many other systems. However, I do not think she should have made the analogy with Emmett Till or the other young man, Daryl Hunt. When we're talking about, I lost count with Bill Cosby. What is it, 40, 50 women?
Yeah, 40, 50, yeah.
And we're talking about even one person.
Right. Well, my question also, too, how can she come to that conclusion, more or less? How can she defend him when he gave a deposition and stating that he gave her, Benadryl? Well, that admits that she was there and that something was going on. So my question to Camille would be, how do you explain that? And he talks about giving Quaaludes to women, and how do you defend that? And then you're going to compare it to, something of this nature?
I don't want to say that she was complicit in his behavior, but I think as women, we're pretty intuitive. I think she knew her husband was a cad or had caddish behavior.
Oh, heck yeah. I think she knew more than that. I
too
think
bad.
she knew he had a sickness, an illness.
Absolutely.
Oh, she had to know. I mean, just think about it. They were married, 50 years or something of that nature, and then she handled all the money. So she was his manager. She knew what he was doing, all that was going on. I believe she knew all that was going on. And then the other thing, she did not go to any of the trials. She only appeared, I think, when they gave the closing argument, the defense did. So which tells me you didn't want to hear all the other stuff that you, I believe, knew was going on. That's the way I see it.
Now, if she wanted to support her man, she could have been there the entire time.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. You're going to wait until he's convicted. Now you're going to come out with something crazy like this statement. She should have been quiet. At this point.
And another thing, she might not have thought that he was going to get convicted.
That's probably what she thought. Right.
Yeah,
probably
that he was
so.
going to get, because he had gotten away with it for so long.
Right.
That that maybe they were going to let him off one more time. So she comes out then when it's basically late.
Well, my question is this: she should have read his. I'm quite sure maybe she did read it, but if she read his deposition, I probably would have been packing my stuff, shifting money around, setting myself up so that.
Well, I think, like you said, she had to have known this years ago.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
it's not like
That's
this
what
was
I'm
new.
saying. If you're handling his money and all that, what make her think that I would have been making arrangements? That's all I'm saying. We as African American women are very strong, and when we see stuff
Yes.
about to go down,
Yes.
especially when you have been dogging me, oh yeah,
It's time to go.
yeah. So, and all the years that and time and energy she's put into his career and everything, yeah, I think that's what she, in my opinion, what I would have been doing, opposed to coming out with something crazy like this, because that's not going to change anything.
No.
So what was the purpose
No.
of the comment? And then to compare it to Emmett Till. That's so offensive.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think it just brings up a bad feelings about a situation that, I mean, it can't make that situation worse, but it can't make anything better for anyone.
She should have been quiet. Even if she were to defend, I never would have compared it to that situation. I think that I thought more of her. I really did, but this changes the dynamics for me altogether. Like I said, it's very disrespectful in every way. And of all the things for you to compare, what your husband is to, that's the best you can come up with. I just, that was just shocking to me. So
It's probably her last attempt to save face.
how would she save face for saying that?
In her mind, I think with Bill Cosby, because he in fact was rich and somewhat powerful, he forgot that the same rules don't apply to you that apply to people of the dominant race. So, before we move on, absolutely, he should go to jail.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah. No
and that was
question.
one thing that, and that was one thing that could have been brought up. All the others that have done these same things, that have not gone to jail. Yeah, because from the president on
But
to the.
he incriminated himself.
That.
I hope everyone would go and read the deposition, because it changes the dynamics altogether when I read that. It really does. I mean, all the things that being very detailed about his sexual encounters, with women and everything, changes the dynamics. And the thing is, being that I don't know what type of attorneys he had, but had it not been for that, I may have said, okay, maybe, maybe would have somewhat given him a slight pass. But after you have admitted things that you've done with regards to, especially what they're accusing you of, and you're giving someone Benadryl for what? You ain't giving whoever.
I agree. When I first heard that he was drugging women, and I'm like, why are you drugging women? You're rich, you're powerful, you have this image. So that told me that there's something emotionally, a bit of emotional disturbance there.
And she knew it. She knew it. I was just really disappointed, because I really liked Camille a great deal, and I thought that, okay, she's been abused by him mentally, and all she had to go through with regards to what he's done in their home. And he's admitted that. I'm like, okay, he's going away to jail. Hey, save yourself, keep it moving.
And if nothing else, he showed he had, not only did he not have any respect for those women, he had none for her, none for his daughter, none for his mother. Absolutely no respect. Now, that's an issue for me.
Yeah.
You can't disrespect another woman and make me think that all of a sudden you're going to respect me.
Well, I sort of feel that way about Camille, that she didn't stand up and, being a strong woman. And I'm be honest, now I'm going to change the dynamics a little bit. How do you all feel about Melania? Knowing what her husband is doing and what he is. And I think, this is just my feeling, I think that she is miserable as all get out. I really do. I think she is truly miserable.
I agree. I think she's probably waiting. There's probably some type of deadline, a length of time on the prenup that she can get what she can get, and she's waiting for that. You can see it in her body language.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She does not like this man at all.
Did you see how she interacts with President Obama when they were at Barbara Bush's funeral? Oh, she was just smiling and just like, oh my goodness.
Well, maybe she signed a
totally
non-disclosure agreement also. I mean,
who?
Melania. I mean, non-disclosure. She after a length of time, after he's out of the presidency, maybe she gets a paycheck too.
I guess I look at her. I'm like, as miserable as you look, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Because I'm thinking, if she were to, I think that she. My thing is this. I think that she could possibly get far more than that, for the mere fact that people be running to her for book deals and wanted to hear what she can say. If that young lady, Stormy Daniels, can get what she's gotten and all the PR and she's made a name for herself.
Right.
Can you imagine what Melania could do?
Oh yeah, it would
If
be big.
I were her,
it
I
would
would be
huge.
calling Stormy Daniels and getting the number of her attorney, and we'd be making a deal right now.
It would be huge.
I just think that she can. I really do think that she can do far better than,
And I think part of that, too, is protecting her son. I think she's very protective of him.
She looks miserable.
She
Oh,
is.
she is. She's definitely not
Gosh.
nowhere near happy.
Understandably so.
But think about this. Think about it from this standpoint. A movie deal. I don't believe there's ever been a first lady that has divorced her husband while he's in office. That'll be a first. So, hey, call me up. Somebody. I'll be looking at all my options. To stay there and be that miserable, that's all I'm saying.
Like I said, baby, he's going to get right a very large check in about, 2 more years? So she's only got 2 more years to wait.
What happens if he gets reelected? She got to go 4 more years?
I don't even want to
Think
conceive
about
the
it.
concept of him getting reelected. Because that will show that America, the majority of Americans have no common sense. I think that's my best way to say that. Well,
the first
we've talked about why people were dissatisfied, didn't believe him, Master Con Man, all that. But now you see what this man is. If he gets elected again, that will be
the
such
fact that he got elected the first time.
We're going to make America smart again.
We're
going to make America smart again.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
But I'm saying it could happen.
It could happen.
And that's the thing. We cannot take anything lightly.
Oh, no, I'm hoping everybody get out and vote. Please, everyone. This is it. Get out and vote.
And then his supporters will, in fact, talk about what's been taken away from them, and they are still supporting him. I don't understand that.
That's why I'm saying he can be reelected again, because people are just so naive or just in denial, whatever you want to call it.
I think first of all, it's just what you said, denial. That's first thing.
We got to go to break. Hold on. Today's praise break is Jesus Will by Anita Wilson, sponsored by the Metropolitan Day School where Eagles soar. We'll take a break and be right back.
Opens doors that I cannot see. Jesus will. Jesus will. Who will make all my decisions for me? Jesus will. Jesus will. Come on, let me hear you say it. Say, when I'm in trouble.
Put your business on the map for a lot less than you might think with Freedom Marketing. Text the word advertised to 63975 or give them a call at 844-321-1010. That's Freedom Marketing, 844-321-1010.
This is Tanya Free, inviting you to check out the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, here coast to coast on the AM/FM 247 radio network and the AM/FM 247 television network. Join the conversation.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, Wednesdays.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
We're back at the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, and welcome to the conversation. Dr. Ellis Henderson, how are you, friend?
Good evening. How you doing?
Doing good. Not going to complain
Good to be
about
back.
anything. We're glad you're here. And also with us is Van Nevels. He's back. I said last week was going to be his last week.
Yes, I am back for all of those of you who thought I was actually gone, leaving.
No, we can't let
He'll
you
be
go.
back.
We can't let you go. You
Hey man,
always
I'm the favorite target for trolling, ain't I, Tanya?
No, we like to hear your comments. You always have something interesting to say, the different perspectives. So, I tell you what, go ahead. We let you jump in here talking about. We were talking about Camille Cosby, and what are your thoughts? Let me get my drink here, so I know you got something crazy to say.
Bartender, can we get a double ripple?
Did he say ripple?
Yes. A double ripple,
Date
man.
yourself.
Because you know it's me.
Date yourself there.
I know, really.
I don't know exactly what to think. She knew she was complicit in as much as she didn't say nothing. Let's see, life with Bill versus life without Bill. She chose the life with Bill. As far as the comments that she made, there's merit to it based on the old fallback of, well, you weren't there anyway, that kind of thing. When she referenced, when she was trying to reference the story with Emmett Till and that kind of stuff. So.
What?
Did you not read the article?
I read it.
Okay, she was talking about, she referenced Emmett Till.
Right.
Okay, her son was killed based on a false accusation.
Right.
That's the common denominator in her mind about this thing.
No.
It's not?
She can't get a pass. No.
Okay.
No.
My
It's totally
interpretation,
different.
I guess, I thought she was indicating that the lady's name, I forgot her name, who falsely accused Emmett Till, should be brought up on charges. I thought that was her angle.
Okay.
Am I missing the interpretation? That's what I thought she was going with that in her comments. Not saying that she was justified in what she said,
Right.
but I thought that was one of her major gripes.
I took it to be that she was trying to say that the woman Constant was a false accuser, just like the woman you were talking about that accused Emmett Till.
Right.
But the difference is Bill's deposition convicted him because he talked about
unsealed deposition.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you read his deposition, he actually talked about them, having some sexual, action or intimacy going on, and he actually said he gave her Benadryl, which tells me he gave her something.
Maybe she had allergies. Maybe it was allergies. He was trying to help her.
He did play a doctor on
See,
TV.
now it's found it for me. Let me see if I can go
Me
to
and my wife Camille oftentimes.
But see, that's what I'm saying. His deposition convicted him, and I agree with the jurors. When you read this deposition, you cannot make any sort of comparison with this situation and the situation with Emmett Till.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he convicted himself.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, he did what he said he did. I mean, so I'm trying to understand what you all talking about. I'm missing it. What part did she miss?
I'm just analyzing what she said. I'm not saying right or wrong in either case. I'm just saying this is probably what she meant.
Dr. Henderson, what are you
Okay.
talking about? What you saying?
Well, as I read her comments, and I think in many ways she's trying to push, the tension back on other people who may have done something similar. My position, not in talking about what Bill did or didn't do, my issue is, I think, as his wife for so many years, she had to say something, and of course she was going to say something that was going to side with her husband. I mean, she's the one who's going to get all the money anyway. All the money's been hidden, so, I mean, she got to say something.
Yeah, but you ought to check, what your husband has said first before you start to blurting out stuff that is disrespectful and just.
She's pretty outspoken. She's got her own voice. She's the doctor as well, so I don't think she's, kind of is a submissive
She stayed
woman
away
to Bill.
from that subject though for a long time.
But I still think it's her right to kind of say what she wants to say because she does like it's a witch hunt.
She sounds like an idiot.
Well,
Let me say that. Okay,
that's the
just
sound of the
jump
day.
right to-
She
she sounds like an idiot when you read her husband's deposition, and like I said, I'm offended that she made the comparison to Emmett Till. That's the part that bothers me. That part right there, and then for her to actually speak out, and knowing that her husband has admitted to the things that he's done. Why would she even put herself out there? I mean, I would have saved myself so I can
Well, she's up in her 80s.
Okay.
No, she's not that old.
Yeah, she's 78.
She's like 78 or 79.
Yeah, I think they're like two.
Yeah.
She's getting close to it.
78 and 79 ain't your 80s.
Well, she's only 2 steps on the top of the stairs.
That's what I'm saying. It's close.
She ain't reaching the top of the stairs here, you know what I'm saying? Got to deal with facts here.
But she's just elevated.
Chicken.
Okay, well, we're going to agree to disagree. We also talked about Melania.
Poor Melania.
Yeah, what do you all think? Do you think she's hanging there, or should she just go to packing? I say start to packing.
I think she'd be a fool not to leave. I think she need to stay where she is and be like everybody else, get their money, live comfortably, and do what she's doing.
Money's not everything. Now.
But
When
for
you're
her,
under
it is.
stress-
For her, it is.
When you're
She'll get a
under
large
stress.
check.
But for her, it is. I mean, that's she doesn't come from anything. I think for us, oftentimes we make interpretations or thoughts about what somebody should and shouldn't do instead
Based
of
on
recognizing,
us, based on
based on
ourselves.
us when we wouldn't do. But I think her situation is completely different. Like she's a person without personality. I mean, what else is she going to do? She doesn't smile. And she gets from Obama.
Wait a minute, no,
Well,
wait a minute.
Obama
Yes, she
makes her
does.
smile.
Right. Hold on, yes, she does.
Unless she's around
She
Obama.
was she President Obama? Oh, she was grinning. I've never seen that
She has
woman's
personality.
teeth ever.
Until
She was smiling
until she gets
and
around
showing
Barack.
all the-
And Barack got her holding her head back. And, and you got Michelle to the side looking. Yeah. Hey, Barack make her smile.
See?
I'm just saying. The way you
I
said
know the way you said that. I know.
Make a smile.
I mean, that's the only time I've seen her smile and laugh when he was in her presence.
You're right.
Otherwise, she's not smiling. She
I
doesn't
am
look
not going to
happy.
elaborate on any of that.
Okay, so
That's
she's
all
an
I'm
exotic
saying.
bird
I know.
in a golden cage. Okay, she's cool with that. It ain't like she just met him yesterday. This has been going on since day one, and since they got together, and he didn't get with her based on anything besides what she looks like. He wanted a badass bracelet, and she was okay with being that. Done.
And wasn't he already married when they met?
She ain't bad.
I can't keep
I
up.
mean, she's not. In my terms, she's not. You know,
She's not as fine as she used to be.
I don't think she ever was. But
oh, that's right. That's another thing too. She's getting near 50, so her expiration date is going to be gone soon.
Yeah, and I
You
heard
know,
that
I
this.
think he trades some.
When did 50
I think
start
he
to be
I'm talking
up
about
in
Donald
age?
Trump.
When did
Donald
50?
Trump turns them in when they get a few
Help me
miles
out,
on them.
help me out, Frida. When did 50 get to be up in age? What are you talking about?
hey,
I'm
I'm
talking
50,
Now,
so
you know,
I don't
I
what you're talking about.
definitely don't know where
No,
they're
I'm
coming
talking
from.
I don't know
about
where he's
Donald.
going
I'm
with
not
that.
talking about
I'm
anybody
siding with the
else.
ladies on this one. I don't know where
Again,
he's going with this one.
Don't filter
Donald
that
turns
comment
them
based
in.
on what you think of. We're talking
No,
about
I
someone
didn't
else's
say what I
interpretation
think
of
of.
50.
Donald turns them in when they get a few
And see,
miles
that's
on
even
them.
more. That's even more. He's what, 70?
Right.
70-some years old?
Yes.
Oh my
Right.
goodness.
He's a friggin' pig,
he makes
okay?
me gag.
And when he acts like a pig, don't
If I
sit there
even
and wonder
thought
why.
about being anywhere near him and having to hold him, oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness.
Well, let's be honest.
Oh
you
my
probably wouldn't
goodness.
be into white guys anyway.
Oh my goodness. Oh
And
my
he's a
goodness.
douchebag too.
Oh my
so.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
You're completely
He's right
out
here
of
in
it.
the front of this page. I'm gonna turn it off. I can't even stand to be
See,
that close to him.
see,
Okay,
dramatic
let's
party of
move on.
one.
Let's talk about the guy in New York. I just read a portion of that
Attorney General?
article. Yeah, the Attorney General. And he's already resigned. And from what I'm listening to, let me ask this question. Didn't women consent to having, you
Well,
know,
no, his is physical abuse. He had physically assaulted them.
wait a minute. During an encounter.
No, what they're saying is that 4 women have accused him of physical assault during arguments.
Oh, arguments.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was doing, sexual activity. I thought that's what it was.
They didn't realize, when he gets mad, he gets homesick because he's from the Slackpole tribe. So,
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough.
Okay.
That's enough. That's quite
Okay.
enough. How
We'll
did,
let that go.
talking to Mike Man. So how did he become a part of the Me Too movement and they not know it?
Well, you
I'm
know,
trying
one
to
of the
understand
things,
that.
it just shows that
Well,
there's
someone didn't show up and tell on
hypocrisy.
him.
Yeah.
That's all that
on
is.
both in both parties. There's hypocrisy in both parties.
Come on,
You
ladies.
think?
It's
Come
not-
on.
it's
We
not
got to do our
It's
homework
a matter
and stop.
of whether
Somebody,
he was,
I just don't understand that. How did that happen?
he's covered up his personal actions by coming out for women. That's what he's doing. He's covering them up, or either he feels
So
guilty
you mean to tell
about
me
it.
women that knew he had an issue didn't speak up or didn't say, "Hey, he is
It's
not
not
the
so
one to
much-
be a part of
Another
this"?
powerful
It's
politician
not so much a
covered
situation
himself.
of someone speaking up. Will the words that they say about this thing be broadcast? Will it get the proper outlet to be out in the public? You dig what I'm saying?
No,
I
don't.
can.
How,
I can
how
say.
is it out now? If it's out now, how come it didn't come out then?
I don't know.
I think sometimes things are out around certain people, but now is the time. I think he was a part of developing a case against Harvey Weinstein.
right.
So they probably did say something to somebody and they dismissed them like they do dismiss us
Right.
about a lot of things. So they said, this is the time. This issue is hot. It's the Me Too movement. Let's put it out again and see who will listen this time.
Wow, that's scary.
Me Too is going to expose everybody. So I'm waiting for this whole Me Too movement to expel some of these lesbian men and women who are assaulting their lovers. 'Cause Ellen DeGeneres was accused of beating up several women before. So is it only just for males or does it include females?
That is a very good.
That is
That's
a good
very,
question.
very good
Yeah,
question.
that is a good
Wow.
question.
Very good question.
Yeah.
So
Why
it's
you
always,
adopted.
the focus is on men, and rightly so in some cases. But however, at what point does the woman share the culpability of their misbehavior in
You're
these
right.
situations?
And,
You're
that,
right.
and that's
You're
the same is true.
absolutely
And that's the same
right.
is true with rape as well.
You're right. I
know?
brought that
Abuse
point
is
up last
abuse,
week.
and
Right.
rape
It is.
is
It
rape.
is.
Abuse.
Especially when you have a woman accuse a man of doing something that he really did not do.
Right.
And I brought this point up last week, and I truly am, very, very concerned about things like that happen because you have a lot of men who have served time for something of that nature that they did not do, or lose their career, or any, whatever their situation may be, because someone falsely accused them, So that should be either part of the movement. I mean, do you think it should be included in that, or a different movement altogether?
I think that
It
right
should be
is right.
all-encompassing.
We're talking about justice here, so justice encompasses all. As Richard Pryor said, oftentimes justice is just us.
Right.
It doesn't apply to to those who are the accusers. The rapper Kevin Gates, he had spent a year in jail. He in the middle of a concert. He had his wife behind him and his children. There's a young lady in the audience who was grabbing his private parts. He asked her to stop, so he kicked her. And of course, he was on probation. He got charged with assault. He had to go and spend a year in jail.
Are you talking about Meek Mill?
No, I'm talking about Kevin Gates.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, Kevin Gates happened in Florida about a year or two ago. Okay. And my argument is that at a concert, he's performing and she's grabbing him. He's pushing her away.
Where is security?
And again, his wife and his children are 20 feet away. But at no point does anybody say, "Hey, this woman is out of order."
Right.
But
once again, he didn't consent to anything.
He was
when we think about consenting, we think about it from a woman's perspective. We don't think about a man consenting. Right. So you have to look at it. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because that is very, very serious. I mean, when someone takes advantage of someone or go against someone's will, it's still, whether man or woman, it's still a violation.
Because we know that there have been many instances in which women have grabbed men inappropriately, and if a man says something, she'll respond, "Oh, you like it,"
or worse, he'll get the reputation of being gay.
Well, yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, but if he responds back in jest with her, then he's out of order. So it has to be a balance. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Right. As my grandma would say, "What's good for the goose is good for the gander."
Right.
Your grandmother said that. Everybody said that.
I bet she made that up, actually.
I bet you she did.
# my gramps, goose and gander.
Well, we're going to take a break. Give us a call. When we come back from the break, 804-321-1010 or 844-321-1010. We'll take a break and be right back.
till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
This is Tanya Free. Is your business in need of a cash infusion to help your business grow? Been told no by the banks? If you've been in business at least a year and have $10,000 in gross monthly revenue, give our friend Anthony Gibson at Fast Advance Funding a chance to say yes based on the strength of your business, not your credit history. Give Anthony a call at 215 215-642-0686. That's Anthony Gibson, Fast Advance Funding, 215-642-0686.
Tune into Just Jazz on Saturday nights from 9 until 11 p.m. right here on Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network. Join me, Ty Bailey, as I showcase the best in jazz, current releases, reissues, and selections from past great recordings. It's all right here on Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network at TanyaFree.com. Just Jazz is also streamed 24 hours a day at TyBailey.com.
Sponsorship and advertising for the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show and the Tanya Free and Friends Radio Network is provided by Freedom Marketing Incorporated, 844-321-1010, or email us at info@TanyaFree.com for more information.
This is Tanya Free. TanyaFree.com is your destination for the best in social and political straight talk, breaking news, commentary, podcasts, music, and more. Stay in the know. Visit TanyaFree.com today.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
We are back. You listen to the Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show. Won't you give us a call and hear what you have to say? Phone lines are open, 804-321-1010. Our toll-free number, 844-321-1010. I want to share something that Dr. Henderson said during the break, and it really got our attention. You said that 45 will win re-election.
Yes.
Why did you say that?
Because if you look at the trends of this country, especially those who are voting, I think the anger and the frustration, by the time 220 come around, it's going to dissipate. It's going to go away. And people, you know, in America, one thing we do well, we do apathy. You know, we get bored after a while.
Yeah, that's
Something
true.
else is going to come forward. And so one thing I say about the Republicans, they kept that Tea Party, they kept that anger moving all the way to the midterms.
Right.
You can see now that the steam and the distraction in this country, people are starting to back away because they're burnt out. And see, Donald Trump doesn't get burnt out. He thrives off chaos. And so do the Republicans in the Tea Party. Now you got Rudy Giuliani as his, supposed attorney. He's another one who thrives off confrontation and chaos. See, we miss what we really need. We really need the good brother to put the glove on. What's his name? Johnny Cochran. We need him to come back. Because Johnny Cochran could handle the chaos and he was resilient. We don't have anybody in our community who is as resilient anymore, who could do it in a calm and smooth way. And I'm sorry, Barack Obama is not the answer. He's not confrontational.
Well, he can't run anymore.
Well, I'm speaking about in terms of somebody to model.
Right.
We need someone
So
who
Cory Booker couldn't do it.
Oh, man. Remember Adam Clayton Powell?
Yeah.
I used to love Adam Clayton Powell. He was smooth, he was confrontational, and he didn't mind giving a middle finger to those people in Washington. But we don't have that in our community anymore. You know, we don't have anybody in the Democratic Party, you know, even Independent Party who is as smooth, who can handle both sides of the aisle. So who we going to look to?
So you're saying basically there's a weakness.
Yeah, what you're
there's
saying is
weakness
true.
on the Democratic
Yeah,
side.
it is.
That's what you're saying.
There's a weakness in leadership.
It is.
Right.
There's
Okay.
a weakness in leadership.
He's right.
Unfortunately, I can't argue with that one, but just the very thought of this guy being in office and doing the damage that he's doing to this country for another 4 years.
But how do we know that his presence is not divine? How do we know that God doesn't have something? Because we don't know what's up, what's going on. It could be, I'm a person of faith, so I see that God's got some things working out behind the scenes.
Well, there is that saying that
Talk
through,
to me. Talk to
through
me.
trouble,
I mean,
through trouble.
Hey, wait a minute. When you said that,
I mean, it sounded like you said trouble does make us stronger. What does not kill us makes us stronger.
I believe oppression breeds creativity. And I believe sometimes we have to go through some things and trust the process
and I agree with you
in
on
order to
that
get to
one.
the other side. I
agree
think
with
because
you on
I
that
think this bringing young people together. I think there's a lot of things
That's
taking
true.
place behind the scenes that we don't see.
that's true. I agree with you there.
That's always the case.
It's always the case.
4 years of it is
I mean,
enough.
So what
we've
I
always
guess-
made it
We don't
through.
need 8.
But I guess
Four is enough.
listening to that, I need some solution as to what do we do with that? How do we
Well,
turn
I
this
think- I
thing
think for
around?
one,
what does God want us to see?
Obama got us drunk. We were drunk off of Obama, and we was high off of Obama, and we thought we had made it like the Jeffersons said. We didn't made it to that big house in the sky. And so all of a sudden now Trump comes out and pulls the foundation, the rug beneath us, and we all turned up and turned over side.
Some folks are.
Well, some folk are.
Right.
Some folk.
And we should be, all out of sorts with regards to what you're saying with regards to 45. But I know there's some folks that are just complacent, and it's like, okay. And that's what scares me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're complacent. I think there's a change in the guard taking place. I don't know. There was an article in the New York Times by, I think David Brooks, and he was talking about how capitalism can't withstand the chaos very soon. And so he was saying that pretty soon this capitalist system is going to have to be replaced with something, because one thing that capitalism doesn't respond well to, which is chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Because capitalism needs bottom feeders. So if it doesn't have any bottom feeders, then what's happened?
And to that, I would say, off of that chaos, capitalism tends to grow more.
Well, now he would,
under chaos than it does under not. Well, a simple example of that would be, the economy gets better during times of war.
But keep in mind, though, what he was arguing that typically capitalism has done that when it had an industrial age. There's no industrial age now. Even there's a war. Well,
have you ever heard of computers and stuff?
But it's not industrial.
It's not industrial.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
it's technological.
I see what you're saying, but it still needs people in order to do it. In order to
China
consume
has
it.
an industrial age.
You're looking at a
They're still
time
doing
coming
wood and
when
steel.
you don't need anywhere near as many people working.
Right. See,
Technology is
so
going
China
to
has the
replace
industrial age. Russia has the industrial age because they're still producing oil. What are we producing outside of, really looking technology, computers, that's not really coming from us.
No, the ideas that come from us, but then it gets sent over to China to make cheap.
So what are we producing in this country?
Right.
Right.
That's the bottom line. What are we producing?
So as this
the
country
illusion
moves
of democracy.
Well, we produce prisons.
We try to spread it everywhere.
We produce it's a prison culture now.
Yeah.
But what I'm arguing is that sooner or later we're going to have to find out what the niche is and capitalize on the niche, because sooner we cannot continue to go in the rate that we're going as African Americans, thinking that the one leader is going to solve it all. That whole Martin Luther King, Obama thing, that savior complex is over and done with. It takes a collective effort. And so it goes back to your point. I think what Trump is doing, in many ways, he's causing people to gather on the fringes of coming together to see what we can do as a group versus what we do as individuals.
Well, Trudy wants you to respond. Trudy says there is nothing divine about Trump.
Well, I didn't say that, but I said that I believe that I'm a person of faith, so I'm not distracted by Trump. I believe that God is always in control and things are already happening. I don't know. I can't speak on who Trump is. I'm speaking about who my God is and what I believe God is always doing on our behalf.
He's a catalyst for better things.
Because think about, Jesus needed Judas. Jesus couldn't be who he is if it wasn't for Judas. He had to have a Judas. So,
I can't go with you on that one.
Well,
Jesus is who Jesus is.
Well,
He
what I'm
needs
saying
Judas
is
or anybody else.
Judas was one who was used to do what? He betrayed him. And so Trump could be Judas. I don't know.
Okay, you getting a little too deep for me right now.
Okay, if Trump is Judas to Jesus.
Okay.
Me? No,
Okay,
just kidding.
wow.
No, but seriously though.
Well, you are a black man, so
what I'm saying is that
likelihood.
we're so preoccupied by Trump, and I think Trump is a distraction.
And I'm not.
Completely.
I'm
not
not.
you,
No,
I'm just
I'm
saying,
not. And that's
everyone's
why.
upset
That's
about
why.
distraction.
That's why I have stopped watching all the craziness with what's going on with him, and I stopped talking about him for the mere fact that it's just rhetoric and it's just distraction.
Right.
I think that once things start to happening, when I say happening, I mean as far as some charges, some convictions, something that of that nature, then things will start to unravel. We need to figure out as to why and what happened at that point, in my opinion. Right now, all this is crazy. I don't see how folks in the media can actually just constantly just, you know, regurgitate the same thing over and over
Because
again.
they're doing their
just-
job.
And
Bottom
I'm
line.
so glad. I am
And
so
their-
glad.
and their
I am
job-
not,
Unfortunately,
I'm so
it's good
glad
for the
I am
ratings.
not one of those anchor persons. They
It's
probably
good.
have to
It's
fire
good
me.
for
They
the
would have to
ratings.
fire
More
me.
people are turning in because of
I can't believe that.
craziness and
Really?
And as a result of
Listen
that,
to
they
that
can
craziness.
the stations, the corporations can then charge other corporations more money to have their little product dropped at this particular time of the day.
I'm trying to understand who is actually watching this day in, day out, 24/7. It's the same thing over
But
and
keep in
over
mind,
and over and over again. I
All
just
this
can't
being shown,
understand
there's
it.
commercials also being shown, so it's making money.
Yep.
People,
ratings are
people
up.
But it
are
makes
watching.
ratings are
I am
up.
just amazed
So
as to how.
some-
I mean, you're seeing the same thing over and over again. I mean, almost if you watch. I mean, I've got to
Well,
watch it
you
5
know
minutes.
what I-
already
you know
what
what
they're
I
talking
liken
about.
it to?
If you watch it long enough,
Those-
I can almost, restate
Predict-
the same
predict
thing.
what's
So
gonna happen.
what I
Yeah,
liken it to is
it
the
makes you crazy.
reality shows. I mean, they're just mental disasters, but people are watching them.
Yeah,
The
it is
different-
the sideshow.
The White Housewives or wherever, or the dating show, whatever that thing.
Yeah, whatever,
People are
yeah.
watching those things, and they're getting good ratings.
And I think they watch
Maybe the
those
cha-
types of things
All right,
to,
maybe you're right.
to
Maybe
get away.
chaos is
To get
creating
away
something.
from whatever. So a lot of those shows, people want to look at something that they don't want to have to think
Wanna see a
about,
train wreck?
and it just.
Think about this for 1
Oh,
second.
sorry. Yes.
John says people like watching a train wreck. Okay.
Yes.
That's a lot of the
I
incentive,
don't.
sadly,
I
of
do
people
not
watching
when
that.
it-
And I think
when
that's
it-
a big.
when it- when it-
I
it
also
impacted
like
me.
to think that's a big appeal of Trump. It's like watching
It is a train wreck getting ready to happen.
A
Well,
daily.
Can we say
daily
this?
train
Why
wreck.
was Obama unable to bring North Korea to the table to have a conversation? How was Trump able to?
Well,
get
first of
this
all,
guy?
that
I
whole
don't think he
conversation
has. I don't
between
think
North
he
and
has.
South Korea, that has been an open invitation for a long
time.
long
For a long time.
long time.
For a long time.
Kim Jong-un just finally decided to accept the invitation and all of that kind of stuff.
So-
I don't. And I was thinking about this earlier. Is he going to get actual credit for that, or
course,
or
yeah.
what
He
has
was
happened
nominated for a
to
Nobel
allow
Peace Prize.
it to happen at this time?
He was nominated. Trump was for a Nobel Peace Prize.
No, he wasn't nominated, but they want several people of his
party.
supporters and such
Well, what
want
happened
him want him
His
want
name
him
was
to be
sent in,
nominated.
and they have
So
delayed
let
the
me ask this
nomination
question.
because
Let me
of the
ask
Me
this
Too.
question. So if he gets convicted, will he lose all of that?
Oh,
Just
he's
like
down to get
Cosby?
convicted. No, he won't get convicted.
You're very sure of that.
No, really.
I mean,
You
wow.
are.
When has a
You are
United
sure that
States
he won't get
president been
convicted,
convicted?
and you're sure
he
that
can't
he's
even
gonna
be
be arrested?
charged.
When has he been convicted? Have you heard of? Wasn't it?
Nixon?
Nixon walked before.
But he was on the
Right.
way. He quit before you got
Right,
fired.
exactly.
Before he got there.
What hard evidence? And why is it taking Mueller so long if he's got anything?
Well,
think,
because
well,
he's doing it
Stormy-
thoroughly, and he wants to make sure that
Stormy
there's no,
Daniels, I
there's
heard
no
her attorney
gate
this
out.
morning, and they have some sort of document. I don't know if it was a
I think it's all a lie.
I don't think so. He is a pretty sure individual, and he is strong and
I ain't
confident.
seen nothing like. I'm from Missouri. You got to show me.
Okay, all
I
right.
believe
they
it's
will.
coming.
I thought you
They-
from
they
Brooklyn
will.
court all this time.
If
No.
Mueller
That's
knows.
Mosley Court.
I
Mosley
messed
Court.
Mueller
with you.
knows it's got to be ironclad.
All
It
I'm saying
cannot
is,
be
once again,
any way out
it's
of
millions
it
of tax dollars
because Trump
spent.
will squirm the way out of it.
and nothing has been produced. Same thing with the Benghazi trial. It's the same thing over and
Well,
over and
there
over.
are
again.
people who
we ain't
are-
got no money we can spend on these long investigations, millions of dollars. They're cutting money from this, they're cutting money from that, but no one said anything
Well,
about this
we
millions
could
of dollars
stop
being
a
spent.
parade.
That's right.
$30 million
Shame
for a
on
parade.
us for putting people in office that
You know what I
approve
mean?
of this craziness and thinks it's okay.
You
Shame
know.
on us.
One thing I did want to say, I agree with you in terms of leadership being weak, not just on the national level, but it trickles all the way down. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm probably the most senior person on the panel.
I don't think so.
And
look
during the break, we were talking about some of the ills or concerns in the Black community and talking about who runs the schools. You know, there are so many people that are taking on positions. They want the paycheck, but they can't deal with confrontation.
You're right.
They
I tell you, hold that thought. We're going to come back to that. We got to go to Black Talk Commentary. Our friend Scotty Reed. Take a listen.
Sometimes we're not prepared for adversity. When it happens, sometimes we're caught short. We don't know exactly how to handle it when it comes up. Sometimes we don't know just what to do when adversity takes over. And I have advice for all of us. I got it from our pianist, Joe Zawinul, who wrote this tune. And it sounds like what you're supposed to say when you have that kind of problem. It's called mercy, mercy, mercy.
Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not necessarily the views of the host and or this station.
The United States is on a path of destruction that could result in a tremendous loss of life after President Donald Trump skipped out on the nuclear treaty with Iran to limit its uranium enrichment production that could be used to produce a nuclear weapon. The other nations part of the treaty include Russia, China, the UK, France, Germany, and the European Union. Despite Trump's threats against them, all have indicated they will continue to honor the treaty, thus isolating the United States. All the nations party to the agreement and the Atomic Watchdog Agency have said that Iran is adhering to the agreement, but that doesn't matter to the Trump administration, citing some secret intelligence from the Israelis, who certainly don't have a motive to lie about the activities of its arch rival Iran. Speaking of Israel, an Israeli official is quoted as saying that they prefer ISIS, a terrorist group active in Syria, defeats the Assad government and threaten to attack Syria and topple its government if Iran retaliates against Israel for blatantly attacking Iranian troops invited into Syria to assist with eliminating ISIS. Ever since John Bolton became Trump's national security advisor, the notorious chicken hawk who has acted as an agent of Israel in the past, betraying the Bush administration on the issue of a two-state solution for Palestine and Israel, the Trump administration has become even more hostile in its foreign policy. It is clear the Trump administration and Israel are the instigators in this drama that could lead to World War III if Iran is attacked and its allies uphold their agreements to assist it in defending itself from Trump and Netanyahu's naked aggression.
This has been Scotty Reed of BTR News reporting. Support independent media today by giving a tax-deductible donation to the Black Talk Media Project, which has been providing public digital media since 2008.
Are you searching for the best in online black radio? Then go to blacktalkradionetwork.com, helping you filter through the noise. Real talk, black talk.
Have you checked out Tanya Free TV on Ustream? Watch our radio broadcast live and catch up on past video podcasts. Download the app or go to ustream.tv to follow Tanya Free and Friends. Stay in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or text the word Tanya to 63975. Join the conversation. Tanya Free and Friends, on air, online, on point.
say this, don't say that, change your lyrics. Everybody's a critic, it's getting kinda hectic. My rhyme is authentic, so it shall remain. My writing exciting, never mundane. In actuality, my personality keeps my mentality based on real life situations, not speculations, but verbal illustrations of how I feel. Dull, void, without substance or content. You need to slow your speed, stop the nonsense. These are the words of the rising sun, surprising some who thought I was just another humdrum. I'll take a page, write a phrase, and rephrase it, treat it like a national flag and upraise it, so a nation of people can feel proud about a brother who speaks out.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Her neighbor's like 4 miles down the road.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Frida. Frida, continue to make your point at what you were saying. I think it's a very, very good point that we don't want to do the work. You know, you get folks do these jobs, these big titles and that sort of thing, but, you know, they don't want to do what it is that they should be doing. I hate it when I go someplace and you say something to someone, you know, about a problem, and they get attitude. You know, or our elected officials, I think where you were going, and they, you know, they get elected and you see them, you know, doing the campaign trail, but talking about being accountable or doing the job they don't want to do. Is that where you were going?
Yeah, and you know, it impacts our children.
It does.
Those are our leaders of tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You know, these young people, as we were talking about in the break, aren't getting the proper education. They aren't able to think. So, you know, if they're not learning to think, they're not going to be able to have an independent thought.
Right.
So, you know, everybody wants these positions entitled, and nobody's willing to put in the work. Mm-hmm. And I remember before 46-5 came into office, I would hear a lot of young people talking about civil rights, and we don't have those race issues. That's not a problem. Everything is fine. Even a lot of the rappers that many people look up to that I know very little about, and I'm like, really? What rock are they living in? So I often think now, since you have 46-1, an office.
I was about to say, I like that. I wasn't going to mess up the math.
I like that.
An office, and you're hearing people say, well, we don't have to do this, you know, Trump is in office, we don't have to respect you, you know. It's just mind-boggling. When are we going to start taking care of our own? And as African Americans, it's going to be our charge. I'm sorry, we appear to be the most hated race on the universe, and it's not just in this country. They look at the media. You go to other countries, I've been to a few, and many of them think the same way.
Really?
They look at the color of your skin, and they think, oh, that's just what I see on TV. So you know,
they love the black man in those other countries, though.
There was a book written, and this is decades ago, called Monster. It was about this gang member named
Cody.
Monster Coda.
Okay,
you know
Cody,
Monster Coda, okay. And that book was sold in very limited availability, I think, in the United States, but it was sold widely in Europe.
Yeah.
And this is during the 90s when you had these kids in Florida that would rob tourists and stuff from European countries, you know, tell them to go down this back road or something like that, and someone would jump them and that kind of thing. So, yeah, our perception is all screwed up because of someone else.
But you got to
wants
keep
us
in
to,
mind
to appear that way. And well, I showed you the commercial from China.
Right, you did, and
but at the same time, you know, it's like a stereotype is based on a little bit of truth.
Tell our listeners about the commercial that you sent me to take.
Okay.
I mean, just briefly, just a brief.
All right. There's a commercial for a laundry detergent pod thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw it?
I saw it.
All right. Chinese girl is in her kitchen, blah, blah, blah. Black guy walks into the scene in the background and kind of looks at him, whistles and that kind of thing. He's dark skinned now. And he walks up on her like, I had to make that reference as y'all look at me like, Well, I mean, it wouldn't need much detergent.
Right.
But anyway,
keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
So he walks up on her like he's going to kiss her. She throws one of these detergent pods in his mouth, stuffs him into the washing machine, and he's yelling and all of this. She sits on top so he can't get out. The scene goes black, and it comes back, and then she opens up the washing machine, and out slowly rises a Chinese dude. So it's on that level.
Right, so it's
However,
similar to the
yet in China,
they washed him to Chinese.
But hold on. But on the other side, there in China, you have young people who are still putting shoe polish on their face and trying to be black, and they're dying of cancer.
Yep.
So, and also too, in China and the European countries, our entertainers who do the blues and the jazz, they go over there and they get paid cash.
Yes, sir.
While over here, you know, we don't even book their venues. They go throughout Europe, Germany, you know, all over places.
Well, I mean, look at Josephine Baker.
I mean, so yeah, so I mean, but
many jazz legends.
I mean, in rap, you know, the basketball players, and so many things that happen. So we have that one image, but then there's other image that we don't see.
Yeah, it's like either they are rappers and stars, or they robbing you. There is no middle ground. There is no Cliff Huxtable.
And why is that?
Okay, why?
Why is that?
White supremacy.
I think we have allowed it, and what we allow them to
when
put
you
on
say
TV.
We have allowed, I got a little bit of an issue with that.
Okay.
So we have a choice.
In as much as, we don't really control nothing.
Well, yes we do.
We don't.
Yes we do. What you just said doing great.
I have two questions for that.
Education is one thing, and educating our children, teaching them how to read, how to think for themselves, and how to be more than just rappers and basketball players. What do we push? You know, I think one of the things, parents get excited when their child can play a sport. That's fine, wonderful, and dandy, but let them do something else too.
It's a 15-year maximum. Most of these athletes, you know, I think football's 4 years, basketball 7 years. As I told my son, you want to play a professional sport, then you got to look at the longevity. You're talking about 10 to 15 years. So at 35, maybe 30, your career is over with. That's if you don't get injured. And that's if you don't get selected. That's if you don't make it.
But see,
that's true.
But the thing is this, I don't have a problem with them playing a sport, but teach them how to read. Teach them how to invest their money.
Right.
One of the things we've seen, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, all of them to be able to carry on. Right. So once their career is over, they have something else going on.
Yet you know all of those stars.
A lot of players, they feel, okay, we getting however many X during this 15 years, and then after that, have no place to go. Michael Strahan has done wonderful. I mean, to come from playing football, now he's on ABC, commentator and different things. I think you have to be able to expand beyond sports, you know. But if you can't read, or if you can't, you know nothing about how to invest your money, nothing else, then you're gonna be lost.
I've always wondered why all of these mega rich athletes and singers and so on and so on, how come they have not gotten together and created a bank?
You're right.
Why has that not happened? It's not like they don't have an operating capital to do it.
What has to change in our community
it's
to
not so much
things like that?
I don't think it's in our community kind of thing.
Yes, it is our community because you're talking about, if you're talking about black entertainers and black athletes, I'm talking about the entire black community.
I'm talking about why have they not started a bank?
Because the consciousness in our community.
What's the purpose of starting a bank?
Right.
What's the purpose of starting a bank?
The consciousness in our community has to go into that.
Just you figure out why.
I know what I said, and I know why I said it. Okay. But I think the problem is we're so focused on why they haven't started a bank. I guess my question is, why haven't they started more schools?
Well, you would need money in order to have a
We got to
school.
take it deeper than that.
And
I think,
from that, you can then, you see what I'm saying?
Well, let's take it a little
Most
bit
of these
deeper than
athletes
that.
have foundations to do certain things. As I said, I have a friend of mine who's a professional athlete. He was starting a foundation. And I said, what are you planning on doing? He said, well, I'm just trying to divert some taxes. I said, so why not go back to your hometown and do a park, build a playground? How about putting some nets on that basketball court in Newport News?
No.
Right, and learn
Why
how
don't
to
you go back to your neighborhood?
That's what everybody else is doing.
Partner with
When you
someone
talk
that's
about
making a
Zuckerberg
widget. Go back to your neighborhood and start a factory building that widget. That's better than a park.
Well, that's what he did. He invested in.
The fact of the matter is, you have kids in parks. Okay, kids in a place to play. My grandson is growing up in Philadelphia. He's in inner city in Philadelphia. There is no playground within walking distance of where he lives and his school. And my question to my daughter is, if he's been constantly told not to play and he's 6 years old, when can he play? There's no park here. There's no basketball courts. So yeah, the widgets and the companies are great, but for children, they need a safe play space. They need playground. They need monkey ball.
Without a doubt.
But the thing is this.
But we know who
fine,
occupies those spaces.
But if the neighborhood needs more than just a park, you need to go a little deeper than that.
Cleaning up
the neighborhood
I
first.
agree with you.
Because then if you have a park and that environment is not safe,
I agree with
then you have a breeding ground for destruction.
Well, one thing we know that even in Richmond, when they start taking money away from the playground, like Parks and Rec, that's problematic. So if money's not going to Parks and Rec, money's not going to the schools, and I commend the most recent, I forgot the mayor of Richmond, what's his name, Bavar
Stoney.
So he gave Parks and Rec almost $700,000, which is pretty nice. $700,000 for all the Parks and Recs and the playground.
But my question is this, though: how does more nets or parks or playing areas help change those kids' mindset so that they grow up and learn that they need the education to make it? Turn their minds around. Yes, studying is hard work.
Did you grow up in a playground?
Did I grow up in a playground? No, of course
I
not.
didn't.
Okay, I did. But
playground. I grew up in my house, where my parents
you
raised
learn,
me.
So
I went to
in a playground. You learn to build relationships.
See, I knew that.
You learn how to play sports.
Okay, Dr. Henderson. Well, you done started something now.
Y'all didn't have playground?
No.
You're from D.C., so I understand why.
Wait. I grew up in Norfolk. My parents taught me how to have relationships. And then when I went to the playground,
so kids can't play now. They're gonna be like in China. Y'all want them in factories making $2, a month.
It takes more.
Produce.
Net. It takes more than that.
What I'm saying is that children need playgrounds.
Children need to learn how to read, write, and do math. Now.
I'm not going to tell you what I discovered at playgrounds.
The children should not play. All they should do is read and write. Even in China and Japanese, they play.
I'm not saying that. As a matter of fact, they need to play to get rid of some of that energy. But at the same time, there needs to be educational programs there.
What's wrong with children playing?
Nothing is wrong with children playing. Provided there's a community center that can go ahead and teach them how to read.
And I'm not saying they do.
One at a time. You got to go.
They need computers in the playground. I mean, at the centers.
This is why we can't get along.
No, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, of course, children need to play.
Have you seen what the research says about children who are allowed to play? The best
I understand that children need to play. I take that as a given.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. I have no problem with the playground. That's fine, wonderful, and dandy. I agree with Marcus here. Let's focus on the educated learning first. And there are playgrounds at the school. You can play, and then yes, there are.
No, they're not.
Yes, there are.
Well, put a playground in school. Right. But the point is, to me, that's not the primary thing that they need to be doing.
Well, let me ask this question.
All you're doing is perpetuating the same situation we have now.
Why not? And where I grew up, you played in your neighborhood. You played on the sidewalk, or you played in somebody's backyard.
That's why we don't see black kids in playgrounds. That's why we don't see black kids maybe in boardrooms. There's a correlation between success and play.
Is it the same thing?
Play does have its place.
What y'all saying is basically work.
So what's the
Nobody's saying that.
What is the difference? Wait a minute. What's the difference in playing in a playground and playing in your neighborhood on your, you know, in the front of your house and everybody else's house and that sort of thing on the sidewalk. I'm trying to understand what's the difference.
I'm not saying that you cannot play inside your house or outside the house, but what I'm saying is that parks and playing are crucial for a child's development, socially, emotionally, and mentally. This is crucial for children to develop, to be healthy.
And that's fine. But let's do the education first, because you got kids on the playground
but
can't
that's
read.
also a part, because
let's have a community center with a playground.
And in the community center,
we have
beasts.
Books
and computers are beasts because they don't play. They sit and they play on the video games. The activity helps with oh my gosh.
But I guess what I'm saying.
But once you get in from the playground, you need a place to go where you can learn to get a skill.
As a teacher and an educator, I'm all for educating. I'm all in favor of educating. All I'm suggesting is children need to play. As adults, we like to play.
This is true, but my thing, I guess what I'm saying is I prefer the money to be put into schools first. Let's clean up the schools first, and then once the money, if the schools are cleaned up and the kids are not going to school with rats and rodents and that sort of thing,
I'm in agreement with you.
Then I'm fine. Then spend the money in the parks, the funds that are left over from that.
That's one of the biggest arguments that they're having in these city councils around the country. Where do we put the money, in the schools or in the parks? You know what happens? The money doesn't go to either.
Right, and that's where we need to hold our public
so
officials
we're saying,
accountable.
put a playground in the school. Well, the school is supposed to be where you're working. What about on a Saturday or Sunday? What the kids going to do?
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand. All right, we're going to have to come back to this conversation because we got to go to a break. Today's jazz break is Blue Train by JRP, Big Band, sponsored by Hong Kong Taylor here in Richmond. Check them out.
There's so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Go to rsgame.org, download the RS Game web client while playing your game, press Control B and arrow down to Peachtree Radio FM. Also, dial the telephone number 641-552-5194. Download the Peachtree Radio FM app from the App Store and Google Play Store. Listen at Peachtree Radio FM on TuneIn Radio, iBlink Radio, and the new website, PeachtreeRadioFM.net. There are so many ways to listen at Peachtree Radio FM. Well, some listen to remember and some listen to forget.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Hong Kong Custom Tailors is celebrating 50 years in Richmond. Visit their brand new expanded showroom, 1839 West Broad. Custom ready-to-measure suits for less than authorized suits at other retailers. Custom monogrammed shirts, pants, sports coats, overcoats, designer shoes, headwear, women's fashions, expert alterations, and more. All first-time shoppers will get a 10% discount just by saying Tanya Free sent you. Hong Kong Custom Tailors, 1839 West Broad, 359-5441.
Did you know in fewer than 4 hours in 1862, Robert Smalls, an enslaved black man in the midst of Civil War, commandeered a heavily armed Confederate ship and delivered its 17 black passengers from slavery to freedom? My name is Tiandra Wallhite, and I'm a living life with a purpose with Tanya Free and Friends.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Furniture at the Venus. Hi, I'm Chocolate Chip, and your home is the place that says the most about who you are. Furniture at the Venus has a huge selection of styles that make a statement. Visit our showroom at 1420 Hull Street, Suite A, and check out our full line of dining room sets, living rooms, and bedroom sets, and more. Be sure to ask about our weekly Tanya Free and Friends specials on everything in the store, including king and queen mattresses, sets to fit any budget. With new arrivals daily, let Charles and Nancy Shaw show you their complete line of home furnishings and accessories. Give them a call at 804-232-3500. That's 804-232-3500. That's Furniture at the Venus, 1420 Hull Street, in the heart of Southside Richmond.
I need a doctor, said the boy to the man, to mend my soul and ease my woes and give my life a plan. Well, hold on, son, said the man with the grin. Just be a man and have no plan and let your life begin. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, gotta try to find your own way. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be. Everything is right when you do your thing. Everybody get some time to live, but it ain't long, so break out strong and find something to give. Close your eyes and listen to the sound, and do not know what you've been told, and just do what you want. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, gotta try to find your own way. Play what you want to play, say what you want to say, be who you want to be. Everything's right when you do your thing. Find your fire, follow your stars, know that they're never too far.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
We're back, Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show, and I want to say hello to Jesse. Thank you for listening. He says, preach, and he loves Frida. You got a fan.
No, I love you too.
All righty then. Let me.
I love everybody.
That's the Christian thing to do. That's what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Agape love.
There you go. Hard Work 95 says the U.S. exports more oil now than ever before. I think that's in reference to a conversation we were talking about.
Right,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
true.
The export, but I was speaking on terms of Russia and producing oil.
Right.
And so, yes, they're exporting more oil, but are we producing the oil, and is it creating more jobs in our country for the citizens of America?
Right. And gas prices are going up too. So
Yes, they are.
Yes, I am not happy.
Yeah,
I mean,
to hard work.
right?
Yes,
I tell you,
the United States does export more oil, but what else do they support? I mean, what else do they export? Because we got trade deficits with, let's see, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Everybody.
And
they're
the
gonna
gas
start producing cotton pretty soon.
I'll give you a check
Don't
mark
say
on that
that.
one now.
Don't say that.
Oil.
They're gonna start producing cotton again pretty soon.
Who me picking it? All right.
They got a machine for
They got
that.
technology now. They can handle
The
it.
cotton gin.
Yeah.
The cotton gin.
Yeah.
Eli Whitney.
That's technology.
I've heard of black people
Yeah.
referred to as antiquated farm equipment.
Oh, gosh. So not
not even-
Mandingo anymore. We're not antiquated
not
farm.
even
No,
Oh,
man,
man.
Mandingo never went away.
Okay.
Let me go to the
Not
phones.
at all,
Let me
brother.
go to the phones. Our friend Dale. Hi, Dale. How are you, friend?
We had to diversify our skills.
Hello, Dale. Are you there? Okay, we lost you, Dale. Give us a call back, friend. 804-321-1010. Go back to whose comment were we? Oh, this playground thing. I think we were able to resolve it for the fact that talking about children at various ages. Yes, I agree with you. We need playgrounds for young children, 1 and 2 years old when they're interacting with other kids. I agree with that. I think the image I had in my mind, when you have older children that are at playgrounds and they should be almost at a point,
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, getting a job,
dangerous, yeah.
or doing something that they're, pursuing some sort of a path as to what they plan to do with their life. That's, opposed to just being on a basketball court, because they're not on slides and that sort of thing.
Well, I think that's a parental problem. I think one of the problems that we have in our country, especially in our community, and in all communities, is that parents are not parenting their children. So we know that most activity takes place between 2 and 5 after children get out of school, because parents are either at work or they're not being attended to.
Right.
So
Or
at what
parents
point in
just
time-
don't care.
That too. So at what point in time do we, say African Americans, take more responsibility for our children misbehaving? I was at Georgia with, a few weeks ago, and I was appalled, first of all, how engaged and intelligent these children are, because Georgia with gets such a bad rap. But, a lot of kids was walking in and out of the classroom, walking in and out of school, no one was saying anything to them. But, it goes back to an authority figure can't say anything if the parents can't say anything. So how can we expect teachers to hold these kids accountable if their parents are not holding them accountable?
Right.
Agree.
And so why is everything gets pushed back on the schools or the teachers or the cops or whatever else?
Because people
That is
don't
so
want to
true.
accept responsibility. That's what I pay my tax money for.
Well, I think
Okay.
when they put, corporal punishments after the rule, or child protective services, if anything's go wrong, or you spank your child, the child can call child protective services and they come investigate and all that. You can't punish your child anymore. You can't really discipline your child in a manner where we would discipline if you said something or you did something and we call it a whooping. That's what it was. You got a whooping. You can't even use those words.
One time with my mother, she's like, "Okay, you can call them, but you got to get to the phone first."
The
Good luck with that.
statute doesn't say, you can spank your children, but you can't leave bruises.
Okay.
And a lot of people will interpret that now. I did that job for a number of years. And
You got an expert here.
I would say to people, let's try some other things. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say some things that I'm not going to say right now.
That's for the pay-per-view edition of the time.
I would say, let's try some other things. And I would say to them, what the statute said. I said, because, I want you to be able to discipline your children.
Right.
And I would say some things.
You
But
might as well just go ahead and say it,
I remember, I think it was a coach from South Carolina. I don't know if it was college basketball. And he said something about people are talking about these children are different. They've changed. And he said, children haven't changed, parents have changed.
Oh, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt.
Parents have changed, and they're abdicating their responsibility.
Right.
Well, teacher personal responsibility has to start in the home.
Absolutely.
It can't start with the teachers or the police.
Right.
It has to start in the home, and they have to be taught to learn to be responsible for their actions from a small child as you're coming up. Then it's quite natural certain things you might do them, but you knew you were wrong doing them.
Mm-hmm. So
I got a question real quick.
Let me go back
which,
to
which one of y'all would let your say between 12 and 16 years old? Would you let your children play with a Ouija board?
Who are you addressing it to?
The whole everybody here with kids.
Why?
Why? Yeah,
No.
Because I have kids in that age range.
Well,
okay.
I don't, but
would you? The whole why is not even a question. Would you let them?
Why is that a
Ouija
question?
board?
That's like asking them rather than play with checkers.
Well, checkers is a whole different thing.
Why is it folks on the Ouija board?
Yeah, there's some. Is it demonic? Something about the Ouija board?
It's because it's a Ouija board.
Yeah, it has some demonic.
Are you all not familiar with the Ouija board?
But my kids.
That's like a random question out of the blue.
It is a random question out of the blue. But that's
I know a Ouija board has some demonic
and satanic.
Yeah,
Yes.
that. And that's me. That you mean being aware as a parent as to what your children are being involved with.
Would you let them?
I know but let's back up. First of all, no. I know myself from a spiritual standpoint. No, I was.
Would you let
careful.
your children play dice, throw dice? You know.
I don't have a problem with dice.
Oh, what kind of problem with no dice?
No.
That's because you throw dice and lots of board games.
No, wait a minute, Dr. Henderson. If they're playing dice and they throwing it up against the wall, shaking it like they're on the corner, then no, we're not playing dice.
That's what you're saying about
no. It works on county, playing dice.
No. It depends on how you're playing the dice. That's the thing. How you're playing the dice.
You sound like
y'all want them to learn and not play, right?
No.
Y'all say no. They need to go read the books of what dice has numbers and you can count. It's like mathematics.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
You can't be. Let me go to the phones. Dale, how are you, friend?
Yeah. Hi, how are you, Tommy?
We're good. Sorry we lost you some kind of way the first time.
Yeah. Look, as far as the playgrounds, we lost a lot of our playgrounds to the liability of children being hurt. That's why your seesaw, your swings, and your sliding boards have disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as basketball, we must remember basketball started with a peach basket hooked to a pole.
Oh,
It doesn't need the space that soccer, football, and all right, I'm fine.
That's a good point. I wonder how many kids actually know what a seaboard is. A seesaw. I'm sorry, seesaw.
Right.
Yeah.
And basketball doesn't need the space that baseball, football, or soccer needs for children to play. And if you live in the inner city, what ball bounces the best? On the hard concrete.
Yeah, and the thing is also, too, kids, 2 and 3 years old are not going to be playing with a basketball.
I'm going to take exception of what you said just on soccer alone. Soccer is the most popular sport on the planet.
And my children play soccer, and I play soccer.
So with soccer, all you need is a ball and a field.
And we played baseball. We took pine cones and sticks. We couldn't afford the equipment.
What are you, a black Grizzly Adams?
I'm just saying.
I'm like, what? Pine cone and what?
Oh, yeah, man. I learned how to play baseball with pine cones and sticks.
we couldn't afford the bats and the balls, so we had pine cones. We had
Dr. Henderson, that was a stretch.
I'm from the country, man. We're creative.
Okay. That was a stretch.
We're creative out there, so we're geniuses out there in the country.
Oh gosh, I can't even visualize that.
Y'all inner city folk need too much stuff. Geniuses. Y'all city folk need too much stuff. That's where I say
that's a pretty heavy. That's a heavy
somewhere.
Okay, Mr. Ouija board.
I'm a fan of the creative play. I really
Thank you, Dale. Thank you for your comment. Appreciate it, friend.
I stay in the store-bought bat all the time, but we found a ball somewhere there.
y'all didn't play with sticks. All y'all did was read books. That's all y'all did was read. Y'all didn't play enough.
Oh my goodness! Funny. But seriously, I wonder how many of our children know anything about a seesaw. I remember that one very well. And Frida, you probably remember this, playing jump rope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about rocks? Remember
jack rocks and
marbles? No, I don't know about a jack rocks. I can't help you out with that.
You didn't play with
jack rock. Oh, I loved it. I was pretty good at it too.
You play marbles?
Maybe a little bit of marbles.
Hold on,
A little bit of marbles.
Maybe a little bit of marbles.
Yeah, we suck it in there.
Free, did you play marbles?
Everybody's hand been up in the air and the other person jumps off.
Right, exactly.
That's happened to everybody.
Everybody.
And you come laying down.
That's the fun of the game.
Right.
That's the fun of the game.
We had a version. We had something like marbles in New York called Skellies.
Oh, Skellies. We play Skelly.
Skelly top.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And what is that?
No, I don't know about that either.
The best thing to make a Skelly piece with is the bottom of like a chair leg or a desk leg from school. You fill it up with wax, and you scoot it across the ground, and there's a board set up.
See, a Scully was like a Ouija board.
It was not like a Ouija board.
Now, I used to like to play Frida, was it Double Dutch the rope?
The Double Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could never jump in that. Oh, my goodness.
No,
I struggled with that. I couldn't do it for the life of me.
You know who won the most recent Double Dutch championship?
No, who?
Koreans. They run in hip-hop and they double dutching.
Wow.
Pretty soon they're going to have afros.
They do have afros. Korea.
I'm gonna start selling them pics with the fists on their hand.
They love our culture.
Right to them. and the one.
You know what's end up happening? They're gonna start putting weave in their head. We're gonna see bald-headed black folk walking around. Those Koreans are gonna take it and
y'all
and
are going in a totally different direction altogether. We are talking about our children going back to playing. I think our children have gotten away from their childhood, and we are allowing them to be adults. You know, taking away what we have experienced, being able to play marbles, jump rope, the park, and that sort of thing. And we allowed them to be grown-ups too soon. That's why I have a problem.
That's all I was trying to suggest.
And I agree. We agree with that. That's why I hate a lot of times a lot of the electronics and stuff, I think, prohibits them from being able to do other things than be on a computer 24/7. They got all their life to do. Let me ask this question. How many of us actually sit down and have dinner and turn the phones off, turn our cell phones off?
And TV.
And TV,
Yeah.
Right.
yes. Gotten back to a family. How many of us actually do that?
And
Other than during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, you know, in my house, Christmas, I'm taking phones unless it's time to take pictures.
Right.
I remember my daughter and I have birthdays 2 days apart. So a lot of her friends went out to dinner for her birthday. Everybody had a phone on the table. I asked, would you all remove your phones? You know what they did. They had them in their laps. So 2 days later, we went out for my birthday. The majority of the people were my family and my age group. I said, do you see anything different? She was like, no, what are you talking about? I said, no one has a phone. I was in church last night. Now, this I don't understand. And these young people, I'm going to say between 8 and 12, they were with their father. They all had their electronics playing games.
Why?
Why? Because he's not being a parent.
I have a problem with that.
Why.
That's what I'm talking about. Children that young, and I think there ought to be a time that they can play these types of games. Not all the time walking around their park. That's the problem.
It's a cheap babysitter.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. That's
truly love. Come on, check it out. Seems like yesterday we used to rock the show. I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block for dough. Notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime. The night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break. I'll be missing you.
It's kinda hard with you not around. Know you in heaven smiling down, watching us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you, till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed, strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits, stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you still living your life after death.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Marion Marketing Global. You know those guys over at Marion Marketing Global? They can do everything from billboards to bus signs. Marion Marketing Global, changing the world and expanding your brand every day, each day. Marion Marketing Global, 804-938-5218. Check us out on the web at marionmarketingglobal.com.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is sponsored in part by
Anthony Gibson, Fast Advance Funding, 215-642-0686. This is Tanya Free. Summer can be a difficult time for families of youth with behavior problems. Many kids with behavior problems just cannot make it in a traditional daycare or summer camp. But there is an option. Call my friends over at the Metropolitan Day School today, 804-321-2595, to see if your elementary or middle school age child is eligible. Breakfast, lunch, and transportation provided. Limited slots. First come, first serve. Call Miss Thomas today, 804-321-2595. The Metropolitan Day School, where Eagles soar.
Well, don't be afraid to experiment, you know. Go ahead, you know, and implement your ideas, your notions. Put them in motion like the words we funky threads have spoken to you. So listen up loud and clear. This is a word you must be aware of. What you gonna do, put it in your life too. Now that's the meaning of the line.
Join the conversation. Phone lines are open right now at area code 804-321-1010 in Central Virginia and 844-321-1010 coast to coast.
Yeah, be selective, be objective.
Let me get myself together here because Dr. Henderson and Marcus just, okay, all right. We're gonna let that go. That's a totally different conversation. Yeah, right, exactly.
That is not my seat.
He sat there last.
Right, exactly.
Bill sits here too.
Yeah, Bill as well.
I'm seated at the left hand.
Okay, I want to talk about Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming weekend, but I'm going to go to line one first to Lim, who loves Frida. Hey, Lim, how are you, friend?
Doing fine. How's everybody?
Everybody's good. Everybody's good.
So y'all switching up going to Mother's Day, huh?
Yes, but go ahead and make your comment.
Well, I'm just going to comment on the kids thing, the playgrounds and all that, and I'll just try to sum it up and make it all one. Yeah, one of the biggest problems, just looking back, is playing. It is the electronics. You finally got to that point. We didn't have a lot of stuff to do and play in the house, so going outside, being creative, playing sports, but not as a way to make money, just for something to do and be healthy. And then you go home and you do your homework or whatever, and next day is the next day.
Right.
But yeah, all that's changed with all the electronics. Kids don't even go outside much anymore. So the need for playgrounds is decreasing because nobody goes out there. You hardly ever see kids playing football, basketball on playgrounds like you used to. I mean, I'm talking in the winter. We used to be out there in the winter any time of the year playing sports. That changed. The TV thing, everybody watches TV. And as far as going out now and being on a playground and possibly running into some type of violence or whatever, a lot of that, too, is the programming on television. We watch so many horrible shows. And when we grew up, our parents were, most of us that I knew, they were kind of hard on what we watched on TV. You
That
could
is
just
so
watch
true.
anything on TV. So you watch more lighthearted stuff, and your attitude reflected that. And then as the times changed and more violence and stuff became popular in games and TV and movies, it transcends to the people. We become those characters we see. We start thinking that way, and some people act out. Then when you don't have the parental guidance at home to teach you how to grow and teach you how to be an adult, and a lot of times, we're not going to be perfect. We're all going to make mistakes.
Right.
But the thing that a lot of our generation learned was consequences. We knew we had to pay for your mistakes or for your actions. Quick story. I had an uncle who was very funny, and my parents used to make sure whatever you ate, like desserts especially, you could only have a little bit. So you eat your piece of cake and that's it. I wanted more cake. He asked me, he said, how bad you want it? I said, really bad. He said, what'll happen if you eat it? I said, I'll get a whipping. He said, is it worth it? I thought about it. I ate the cake. I got a whipping. He laughed his butt off. But I understood consequences. And through life, I knew certain choices that I had to make.
I hope that cake was
You have
good.
Choices, haha. Love that word. Anyway, there were choices we had to make. And you make the wrong choice knowing that, you go into the store. I don't have a license. I'm suspended. But I'm only going down the block. I'm going to take a chance. So you do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you get caught, you did it. You suffer the consequences. If not, you're free. But anyway, it's just about sports and all these things. And
Let me ask this: Was the cake good? Was the cake worth it?
Oh yeah. Anyway, when you think about it, like kids, how are you going to tell in this day and time, 18 or 19-year-old to hit the books and be, go get an education? Maybe you can be a lawyer and a doctor. When he's going to say, at 21, I can make $2 to $5 million playing basketball or some other sport, and I don't have to even pay attention in school. If I'm nice enough, they'll push me through. It's hard to change a child's outlook on life when the parents are pushing them to go that direction so they can be richer.
And to that kid,
my kid's gonna get me a house and a car and all. That's the way people think now.
Now listen.
So they're not going to encourage the kids to get an education
You're right.
when they
I agree with
think
you.
that they can.
If they think they're gonna make big bucks,
a pro career.
Yeah, somebody needs to then tell them what the statistical likelihood of them actually becoming that thing. But the statistical likelihood of becoming successful if they get their education is a whole lot greater. That's the part that needs to be impressed. If not, do both. You dig what I'm saying?
Hello? I couldn't hear you, but
Oh.
I'm sure it was something cool. Anyway, I'm going to switch over to...
yeah, we're going to talk about Mother's Day. You might make a comment?
So is it the bailout on Mother's Day thing?
Huh?
The what now?
Is it bailout?
What's that thing, something about the bail for mothers, letting mothers out of jail for Mother's Day?
What? I
Y'all talked
don't know
about
what
that.
that is.
Keep them in jail. They committed the crime. Keep them in jail.
Well,
No.
see, I think that's based more on like people who can't afford bail. Like if you get picked up for it's a crime, yeah, but if you get picked up for a speeding ticket, parking tickets, and they're going to get you because you got too many, and they're going to lock you up, and you can get out on bail. But if you're a poor person, you don't have the money to pay bail, then you sit in jail waiting for your chance to come up to the judge. And it's like those kind of crimes.
Yeah, that's debtor's prison.
That just can't afford. It is a crime, but it's one of those things that you think about it. You got this person sitting there only because they don't have finance.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else do the same thing and worse sometimes can get out. They can walk because they have people with finance.
But they committed a
Do that
crime.
for 'em.
So
I think that's
why should people who commit crimes
day
get a
is Mother's
pass?
Day,
That's like a child who fails a test. So, because he couldn't study for his test, he gets a pass, so we're going to pass him along? No. This society's
No, of
gotten
course
too
not.
soft.
That's not the same thing. If a child can't study for his test, he can't study for his test. That's probably a reason why.
And if
he
mama
doesn't study
can't get out of jail for breaking a
that's on
crime,
him.
guess what, Mom?
But
That's a
if you come home
consequence.
from school and you got to take care of 5 brothers and sisters and cook dinner, and you're like 14 and you can't study, you don't have time to study. So if you get caught failing your test or whatever,
that's a
nobody's going
stretch.
to listen to your story.
That's
but nobody's
a
gonna
stretch.
ask.
Mama got to stay in jail. Sorry, Mama.
Thank you, Lynn. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys
so
have a
much,
good
friend. We
weekend.
appreciate it. This weekend, Sunday, is Mother's Day. Now, I'm a what was that for?
Mama. I love my mama. Hi, Mama.
Mother's Day, in my opinion, is every day. I think you would
Amen.
agree with this.
And so is Father's Day. So is
Every
Father's Day.
I agree.
day.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we haven't gotten to Father's Day. You have to wait. When's your June 5th?
Y'all always won the first.
We bring that back on June 5th. And Father's Day is every day, too. Let me say that.
Thank
It
you.
is.
Thank
It
you.
is. I mean,
That's
it
all I
goes
want.
both ways.
Thanks.
Fathers are very valuable.
That's right.
Yes,
Say it
very
again.
much so.
Say one more-
Wait a
one more
minute.
again.
We're talking about Mother's Day right now. Yeah, just a few minutes. But I want everybody that wants to say something nice about their mom to give us a call, 804-321-1010. 844-321-1010, our toll-free number. I'm gonna go around the table. It's Mother's Day. I think,
Hold on. Make that invitation open for people who don't want to say something nice about their mom.
No.
We can be equal. We can be equal opportunity.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
We can be equal opportunity.
No, say something
We're
nice.
celebrating mothers.
Thank you. We're
Right.
celebrating.
And don't say that because the phone will start ringing off the hook. If you try to say it.
I didn't know how great my mother was until I got older. I wish I could have appreciated my mother when I was like an adolescent, a teenager, in my early 20s.
A lot of time that doesn't happen for that. A lot of time that happens for the reason once we get older and have children and we know what parenting is about.
Yes. I missed out on some crucial years, and I try to tell my children, acknowledge and honor your parents while they're young. It makes a huge difference.
The Bible
in their
talks
lives.
about that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
honor your mother and father.
Father, right.
And I just think if we could teach our children to be more honorable, because man, there's nothing
Well,
like
see,
a
it's
mother.
not about teaching them. It's about that's called maturity.
Well,
you can't teach maturity.
Well, what I want to say, I really miss her, and I wish every day I could talk to her. And kind of what you're saying about, I would love to be able to have some conversations with her about things I've learned now.
Right. Yeah, Frida?
I agree. I am the woman I am because of my mother, and talking about someone that walked unconditional love. My mother loved her family under all circumstances, and I can truly say, and both of my parents were country people from New Kent, Charles City, not so much country.
That's heaven.
And,
Heaven right there. That's heaven.
Any more. But when I really, once I had a child, I could really appreciate
right.
her, and I agree with you, Marcus. I wish I could talk to her and tell her some things and talk about things that I've learned. And I used to say to my daughter, because I became a single parent when my daughter was somewhere between 7 and 9, and I would say, well, I'm telling you this because my mother told me this. And she would say to me, I'm not so sure where I got that strong-willed young woman from. She said, well, some things I'm going to have to learn on my own. I'm like, okay, well, some things you really don't have to.
Right,
but
exactly.
I'm telling you, I lost my mother when I was 38, I think. So I've been an orphan for a long time. I lost my father at 22.
Right, wow.
And I had the best father in the world,
Yes,
and the best mother, too.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
And
Mother's
I think we
Day.
still can remember our parents even if they're gone on. And I do that with my father. And, I say, hey, Dad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you all recognize things that, things he said or he did that now I'm like, oh, I wish I had, My mother's still living, bless her heart, and I'm so grateful for her because, even moms have a way of protecting you still. And when I go see her and I go home, she said, call me when you get home. She said it like as if I was like, 16 or something,
Well, you
and
still are her
And I
child.
appreciate her doing that. I love my mother dearly. She's a sweetheart. And I have aunts we all have aunts and somebody that are like mothers, and I have lots of aunts. And I also too want to recognize my mother-in-law, Louise Branch, who's gone on, and she, oh my goodness, like my mother, they were this two almost of a kind, and just the love and outpouring. Let me go to the phones right quick. Otis, you there?
Oh, hello, yes. I'm fortunate enough to have my mom still living. And
wonderful.
Definitely. She taught me a lot. I want to please ask you something. Help the gentleman that said the mothers should stay in jail. Please put it on your palette to research the use of bail bonds in the U.S. and bond for profit, and you'll find out there's about 35 or 40 districts throughout the South that have used bail bonds to disproportionately lock up low-income people both male and females, destroying
Both
households
black and white.
because the one wage worker can't be out to go to their job over something sometimes as simple as a traffic ticket.
Okay, thank you, Otis. We
Please do
appreciate
that.
your
It'll be a
comment.
good service for your community.
Okay, thank you, friend. We appreciate your comment. Hope your mother has, your family, whoever your loved one is, have a wonderful Mother's Day, okay? Van, before we go very quick.
God, where do you begin?
Okay, well, look, we got.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were we
real
talking
quick. You want to say something about your mother?
I love her to pieces. She's still around. For if not her, there would be no me, obviously, but still. Much wisdom, and when I was younger, every time,
Okay.
almost without fail.
Okay, we gotta
don't go do something.
We gotta
and
go
I
to Pastor
ahead and do
Foot.
it.
Pastor
Get
Foot, how are you, friend?
Hello, how you doing, Miss Tanya Free?
We're good. That's Pastor Foot from The Choice.
Yes, how are you?
We're good. We're good.
Well, listen, not gonna hold you long. Just want to say happy Mother's Day to you and all of the wonderful mothers here in the city of Richmond, Virginia, and to my lovely wife, co-pastor Gloria.
Absolutely.
Amen. Happy Mother's Day to her as well. But I just want to say something quickly about my mother. I really love my mother, and today she's still alive in me.
That's a blessing.
Because she taught us something very important. She taught us how to love. And I would always ask her, I said, Mama, don't you ever get mad with anybody? She always had a smile on her face. She said, son, it ain't going to help you, so love them anyway.
There you go. There you go. Now, that's when you get the smile on your face. Pastor Foot is always smiling.
You know, as Cheryl Underwood would say, I do what I do.
There you go. Thank you, Pastor Foot. We appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
You too. As always, I thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing us the opportunity to speak and hope to her. Thanks to our listening friends. Blessings to each and every one of you. And, of course, thanks to Van, Frida, Dr. Henderson, Marcus, Niles, Noah, Mr. Free. I'm Tanya Free. Until next time, be free. And remember to live life with a purpose.
I keep grooving, a slick bass line, keep the beat moving. They can't take it, they just fake it. They wonder how the raw bass make it. I get ill, you know the deal, cause this is how the raw bass feel. Joy, come on, pump it up. Pain, pump it up now. Sunshine, what else? Come on. Rain, here we go. Joy, pump it up now. Pain, keep it going. Sunshine, yeah, and rain, pump it up. I keep smoking hot like fire. You had to turn, now retire. Don't talk back, I'm not a new jack, cause I'm fresher than you and you're whack. I keep trying, I'm not lying. Up to #1 is where I'm flying. I won't slow down, cause I'm the new kid with the devastating sound that hid in the house where I used to practice. No one knew the raw resist, but now I'm getting greedy. Don't lead me the wrong way, cause it just might bring me down. I have to fight to get back up. Move away, cause I just won't slack up. Joy, pump it up. And pain, come on, here we go. Sunshine, what else? Rain, keep it going. Joy, yeah, and pain, pump it up. Like sunshine, what else? And rain, I'll give it to him.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is a presentation of Freedom Marketing Incorporated. All rights reserved. Views and comments expressed are not necessarily the views of the host and or this station.
You, I swear